So I think this should be a great first camp of the winter season of 2024. The view is great out here. You can see straight up on the glacier Folgefonna. So I'm not completely level, but this is fine, I guess. It's very cold outside. It's around minus 15 degrees Celsius. It's nearly 4:30 and it's getting dark. So let's set up here. Well, good morning. It's January 8th, and I'm out on my big Arctic winter tour for 2024. Got my coffee. First morning here now, just below this big glacier here, Folgefonna. It's been minus 10 to minus 15 degrees Celsius through the night. Pretty cold, but nothing crazy like it's been the past few weeks. We had minus 40 degrees Celsius, which is also minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit, several places in the country. I think the lowest temperature that was measured was minus 49.7 degrees Celsius, which is minus 57 degrees Fahrenheit. That's pretty crazy. Anyway, I hope you will enjoy this season of my Arctic winter tour with my van. I'm gonna be out doing a lot of stuff. The goal is to head up to Lofoten and circle back through Sweden. I'm going to be above the Arctic Circle up there. The islands of Lofoten are really spectacular in winter, and there's a lot of aurora, northern lights up there and stuff, so that should be exciting. Right now, I'm down in the southern part of Norway, and I'm going to start heading north now. The coffee in the van, that's something special. So I'm gonna put up the locations where I drive and my campsites that I like on a map that I post on my Patreon, and I also post that map here on the channel for members. If you want to see where my favorite camp spots are, you can find those on the maps on my channel membership page and also on my Patreon. I did a little last-minute upgrade to the van, just creating wind shield and cold shield for my radiator. It's something that's temporary that I'll put on if it gets too cold. It is crazy cold. The problem when it gets too cold is that the radiator doesn't generate enough heat to get the van warm inside while I'm driving. So that could be a problem if it drops below minus 15 degrees or minus 20 or around that ballpark there. I'm just using these strip ties here to hold it in place, and made it a little bit stronger with duct tape. And then it's actually fastened under the hood here. I want to say that I appreciate every one of you watching and really enjoy showing you these places up here. So come along for this season. It's gonna be awesome. Cheers! So I have a little thing I need to fix. That is this insulation here for this sunroof here. Comes with some rails that you're supposed to mount here. So you can just slide this in. I'm gonna put up these rails here and see if I can make it fit. Might need to tighten it up a little bit more. So, looks like I ended up in some sort of a convoy here again. This is where I usually end up in a convoy. It's not because of snow and ice this time. It's probably because of some avalanche or some kind of incident on the road here with debris or something falling on the road, I guess. I'm not sure. What an absolutely beautiful afternoon. It's 3:30 now and the sun is going down. January 8th. And I'm up on Hardangervidda. It's just gorgeous up here. Very cold. -15. Just look at this scenery here. Just incredibly beautiful here now with this sunset here. Sky is colored pink. It's getting really cold. I hope you're enjoying this flight here. There's nobody up here, so it's pretty easy to do an automatic tracking with my drone. Okay, I think this will be camp. I'm right up here now on top of the Hardangervidda. It's a pretty low wind now, but it's gonna get incredibly cold up here. So the beauty of this cold is just stunning. The last time I was here about a month ago, there was a big snowstorm and I was parked up here in this massive blizzard. So, amazing place. It's 4 o'clock, the sun has gone down, and it's gonna get dark. Let's get warm. Get the heat on. Just took this outside. Hasn't started dropping yet. Just look at this beautiful view out my window here. Amazing. Love this camp here. Lunch, an apple. What a beautiful drive that was. Time to get some work done. Transferring some video material that I recorded yesterday and today. Great office today. Cold office. Actually, it's very comfortable in here, but outside it's pretty freezing. It's kind of weird. There was absolutely no wind on the forecast, but now it's really going off outside. This is a really exposed mountain plateau up here, so that happens from time to time, but I was definitely expecting calmer winds. The van is actually shaking. Actually, the temperature got warmer than was supposed to be. It's only like -9 now. That happens when the wind comes in usually. Anyway, it is time for dinner, and today I'm gonna make some sandwiches with serrano ham and pesto. Might put them in the pan and grill them with some cheese. Simple dinner, I guess. Pesto. Might as well celebrate that we're out here again. It's winter and it's January and it's cold outside and it's windy, and I got my light beer. So cheers, my friends, and thanks for tuning in again. Spanish serrano ham. Then let's top it off with some rucola. So people have been asking what I do about ventilation when I'm cooking, and you can see up here I always open one of the sunroofs or a window so that dangerous fumes can get out. Of course, in this cold, it gets really cold, so trying to be quick about it. That's really good. Nothing to see. Well, good morning. It's day 3. It's a gorgeous morning. I got my coffee. It's been windy through the night, but the temperatures stayed around -10, so it didn't get too cold. Still could feel the wind kind of coming in through the joints and weak points of the van here, but that's okay. I stayed really nice, comfortable, cozy and warm. Just looking out at this amazing landscape here. It's like being on the moon. I'm back up really close to where Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back was filmed. It was filmed at Hardangerjökull Glacier and Finse, which is basically right behind the camera here. Here's a drone shot where you can actually see Hardangerjökull. Coffee today is so good. I can feel the sun is warming up my van and myself a little bit. My Truma Combi 4 propane heater is not running as fiercely as it did before the sun came up. So, very comfortable here now. Don't know if you can hear the wind. just so many incredible campsites here. I'm putting them on my map for my members and Patreon members so that you can find them. Look at this. Such amazing campsites, just spectacular out here, like a moonscape. So I got set up for a new camp. Only moved probably like 20 kilometers or so. I just needed somewhere with good cell service so I could get some work done. It's a spectacular day up here. The sun is very low because it's January, and basically it's gonna set around in an hour or so, in an hour and a half, I guess. It's 2 o'clock now, so I'm gonna get some work done here, and it's completely quiet. It's gonna get down to minus 10 degrees Celsius, around that, so looks to be very comfortable next 24 hours. So the weather is so weird because it's gonna get warm. It's actually gonna get above freezing up here in a few days, and then it's gonna drop down to minus 30 in a week or so. So I saw some weather forecast for further north, and it looks like it's gonna get down to minus 35 or close to minus 40 again. Minus 40 degrees Celsius is the same as minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. That's where Celsius and Fahrenheit meet. So we'll see where I'll be by then. But now, let's get some work done. Well, there goes the sun already. It's 3:15. so it get down to minus 16. Oh, good morning. It's another gorgeous morning here in the mountains. Got down to minus 16 through the night. But over the next few days, it's gonna get pretty warm, I think. I saw that it was gonna go above freezing for a day, so could get really slippery then when it freezes again. So a few days after that, it's gonna get extremely cold again. It's gonna get below minus 30 up here. So I'm gonna start heading north now towards Lofoten. I'm gonna do that quite slowly. I have plenty of time. It's still January 10th. Got my coffee for the morning, the most important meal of the day. Amazing. I can feel how the sun is warming up the van from the side now. Finished one bottle of propane now. I'm on day 4 on this propane bottle. So I'm basically using more propane this winter than I did last. I keep the temperature a little bit higher because it's okay to use more propane, I guess. Also, I haven't been driving much, so when I have long days of driving, there's less propane usage. Getting questions all the time about the heater that I'm using and why I don't have a diesel heater. And the reason why I don't have a diesel heater is that this van came with a dual propane bottle system. And also diesel is much more expensive here in Norway. It would be much more expensive to use a diesel heater for the heating than it is using propane. That's a good reason. The bad thing is that you always need to refill these bottles or switch them, which is okay in Norway because you can switch them everywhere, but you cannot switch this kind of bottles in Sweden, for instance. So I have to go back to Norway to switch the bottles. The Truma Combi 4 that I'm using, it's a fully integrated heating system. It's the same if you use it on propane or if you use the diesel heater version. It sits in the same place and gives up the same kind of dry heat, which is preferable in a van. So there's no real advantage heating-wise to having diesel. Of course, you have the diesel fuel tank in place then, and you can use as much as you want to. But it is more expensive. Anyway, let's enjoy this morning and enjoy this coffee and have a look at the sun rising here. It's warming my cheek now. Gorgeous place. Hardangervidda. So downhill on icy roads is always fun. I do get a lot of questions about my tires and the drivetrain on my van here, and it is a front wheel drive, but I got amazing winter tires. It's from Nokian Paleta or something like that, made in Finland, so they should know what they're doing. Front wheel drive versus four wheel drive. The one thing that is most important is the tires you use. If you have good winter tires, that's the most important thing. I drive with studless winter tires, which is completely fine, and I'd say 99% of the situations. If it's like pure ice with water on top, then you might need studs in your tires, but in conditions like that, I prefer to stay put and not drive it if it's really bad. The four-wheel drive will not save you if you lose the grip. Then it's just gonna keep sliding. It won't matter if you have four-wheel drive. The only thing that will matter then is the tires. So tires is more important than having a four-wheel drive. Of course, if you're stuck somewhere and stuff like that, you can get more easily out of that situation with four-wheel drive, but it's okay with front-wheel drive. If you watched the video from last year when I was completely buried in snow and I was kind of spinning my way out of that situation after I had been digging myself out, and a lot of people said, oh, you would have gotten much more easier out if you had a four-wheel drive. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can spin yourself out of a situation as long as you can move backwards and forwards. It's okay. You can go back and forth a little bit and just kind of get yourself out, even with front-wheel drive. So no need to put on chains unless you're gonna drive up an icy hill. Some people ask also why I didn't put chains on when I was kind of stuck, but it's really not necessary to spend all that time putting on the chains if you're just gonna get out of a snow pit. As long as you can get the van moving backwards or forwards, you'll get out. You don't need to do anything dramatic until you're like completely stuck. It's completely normal to just kind of shake your van back and forth and just kind of wiggle it out. That's just a few of my thoughts on drivetrain and tires and snow chains and all of that. As long as you're just careful, especially going downhill, I feel either going downhill on ice, or if you go uphill on something very steep so that you end up having to stop or something, that could be a little bit sketchy. So apart from that, you just have to drive according to the conditions. scenery with all this frost, the frost smoke, and the frost on the trees is just incredible. So beautiful. It's really cold down here. The air is still, so basically all the cold kind of drops down into the valleys right now. Amazingly beautiful. So I'm on some extremely steep grades going down from Golsfjellet. It's 10 and 8% and it's ice roads. So I basically just have to stay to the side here and go very slow, so that if I should lose the grip, I will just have to go straight into the snow, basically. Steep but beautiful. down in Valdres. It's extremely cold here. It's around -16. Well, it's not extreme, but I could feel when I drove down those icy roads. Oh, here's cheap gas. I'm gonna get that. Okay, I found a place to call camp here. It's not perfect, but it'll do. It's kind of a big parking lot by the road here, and not the greatest view, but there's a forest view, and as you can see, there's a pretty nice little coloring of the clouds going on here. Feels peaceful, and there's good cell service, so I can get some work done. But now, let's do some dinner. Pretty long drive today through some amazing winter scenery. So, very happy to be here. I'm going to be heading towards Lillehammer and over to Rondane and further on to Dovre, I guess. We'll have to see what the weather says. Sriracha. Mayo. Then I'm gonna add one of these burger steaks. Ooh. Put it in the pan. Look at that loveliness. That's a pretty fun little dish right there. It's like a, I don't know what it is, burger thing. Mmm. Fantastic. That is so good.